Hope we are able to see the screen share. Yes, there. When you are looking at, if you are looking at digestion, they're describing it as a process by which complex food substances, let me hope people are noting down somewhere. You must have somewhere you are writing such that this moves on smoothly. Because when you write down, you're keeping record of what we are doing. Don't just come here to listen, because you'll easily forget these things. But if you note them down, you'll have a point of reference where you go and make reference from. So digestion can be classified under two. We can have physical digestion, and then we can have mechanical, rather chemical. Physical is mechanical, but after mechanical, then we can have chemical digestion. So digestion can be classified into physical and then chemical. In the physical or mechanical digestion, we shall have majorly action of teeth. We can have action of teeth. We can also have the churning action of the stomach. Sometimes the stomach can move around, and that we call it the churning action. But majorly in the physical or mechanical digestion, we are looking at the teeth. If you look at the teeth themselves, when you get your pawpaw, you get your cassava, you get your yams, or any other kind of food stuff, or your hardy corns, you put them into the mouth, you grind them mechanically using your teeth. That's what we call physical digestion or mechanical digestion. So after grinding the hardy corns into small pieces, remember you are mixing them with the saliva. So you'll notice down that you'll notice that in your saliva we are having an enzyme there. We are having an enzyme, and that enzyme is called salivary amylase. We are having salivary amylase present in the saliva. So now that is chemical digestion. When salivary amylase starts to catalyze the breakdown or to hydrolyze the starch present in the hardy corns into maltose, then that is chemical digestion. So if we are looking at enzymes and their activity, that is chemical digestion. But if we are looking at the teeth trying to break down food into small particles, then that is physical or mechanical digestion. I hope I'm not fast. I'm trying to be very slow such that everyone tries to understand what we are looking at. I'm seeing a hand. Yvonne has raised up a hand. Yvonne, you want to say something? You can unmute. Yvonne, you can unmute and say something. Yvonne doesn't want to unmute. Okay, Graham, I'm seeing your hand is up. You can unmute. Yvonne, I think your hand might have been risen up by something else. Let me lower your hand. Okay. Let us continue. Physical digestion, they're saying that this is the breakdown of food due to the mechanical action of your teeth, muscular contractions, and bile juice. And in chemical digestion, we are having the breakdown of food catalyzed by enzymes. That's what we are trying to deal with. Let us continue and look at the steps involved in digestion. So they're saying that steps involved in digestion, we are having 3 of them major. We are having ingestion. We are having ingestion. That is where you are taking in food into the body. Ingestion, I-N, ingestion, you are taking in food. Then we have digestion. Digestion, that's what we have been looking at. We are breaking down complex molecules or food substances into simpler, soluble substances that can be absorbed and assimilated. And then ingestion, lastly, Here they are saying that it's the process by which insoluble, undigested compounds of food are discharged or expelled from the body. So here, if the food you have eaten has not been digested, or if the particles are insoluble, they ingest them. Ingest with an E. Ingestion is ING. Ingestion is IG. So you must be very vast with the spellings of these words. So the steps involved in digestion, we are having ingestion, taking in food, digestion, breaking down food, then egestion, excretion of the insoluble and undigested compounds of the food you have eaten. I want us to look at digestion in details. If we are in the mouth, what happens in the mouth and what goes on that we normally don't see? Majorly, they say that if you are eating, you have to give plenty of time to the food you are trying to chew. But you see some people, they have their cassava, very hard corns, very hard cassava. They just chew twice and they are swallowing. That is very bad. You cannot chew twice, thrice, then you swallow, because you are in a hurry, or in case you just want to finish up the cassava because you don't want to give to your friend. So you have to ensure that you chew very well the cassava. You have to chew very well such that all the large particles are crushed into small particles. Because if you swallow big particles, it means that these particles are unlikely to be digested, or are likely to be undigested, and you will expel them out as you ate them. And those problems can bring about constipation. You swallow a whole piece of cassava, it will not be digested, and you'll have problems in defecating it out, because it will be very big and it will even cause problems in your intestines. So you have to be very careful when eating food. You have to give time to the food in your mouth. You chew it very well, and you swallow it when it has been broken down. I'm seeing a hand, Maria. Maria is raising up a hand. Yes, you can unmute. Yes, Maria.
Teacher, can I say that chemical digestion is the breaking down of food due to chemicals?
I think that is okay, because even enzymes are chemicals. But because we are more major in biology, chemicals would sound more of chemistry. So if you look at chemical digestion, what brings about chemical digestion? Enzymes. So just say enzymes. Don't beat around the bush. Tell us specifically what we want. Enzymes. Abraham, you can unmute. Abraham, unmute. Okay. Miss Jungkook, you can unmute and say something. Jungkook, I'm seeing your hand is up. You can unmute and you tell us what you want. All right, they have lowered their hands. Okay, let us look at digestion in the mouth. They are saying that digestion in the mouth is both physical and chemical. I hope by now you know what we are trying to mean by both physical and mechanical, and chemical rather. So in physical digestion, we are having action of teeth. We're having action of teeth. So the teeth grind the food. We looked at the different types of teeth, remember, before we left off, for those who were in streams that were on nutrition. If you look at the teeth, we can have the incisors, the canines, the premolars, and then the molars. So these teeth in our mouth, they all perform different tasks. but it all brings about digestion. If you look at the incisors, for them they are cutting the food. If you look at the canines, they are tearing flesh. They are tearing the flesh. The premolars and the molars, they're all grinding. They grind the food such that they ensure that it can easily be worked upon by the enzymes. So that is physical digestion. So here, why should we chew very well before we swallow? Why should we chew very well before we swallow? Here they're saying mastication is important. Mastication is the chewing, you're chewing. It increases the surface area of food for efficient enzyme action. Just like if you get your lollipop, you get that lollipop, you put it into water, you start to dissolve. It will take like some 10 minutes for it to dissolve. But if you get your lollipop, you first crush it into powder, then you put it into water, then you stir. 1 minute, it will have dissolved. So it means that its surface area increases when it has been crushed. So also here we are increasing the surface area for efficient enzyme activity by grinding the food into small particles. That is what we call mastication. You are trying to break down the large food molecules in your mouth into small molecules that can easily be worked upon by enzymes. Next point is it helps to mix the food with saliva. And in so doing, we are having softening of food and we are mixing the food with the enzymes themselves. Also, it brings about efficient digestion. The third point here, they're saying that with the help of the tongue, the food is rolled into a bolus for easy swallowing. So this tongue, when you are chewing, you have to be, you will notice that your tongue plays an important role in rolling the food into a bolus. And that's how easily you can swallow this food. You cannot swallow it anyhow. Your tongue does an important job in rolling the food into a bolus. And the last part is that chewing stimulates enzyme secretion. That's why for those who eat bubble gum, those ones who chew PK and other gums without having eaten food, your stomach will produce enzymes, it will produce acids, thinking that you are going to swallow food, yet for you are chewing marijuana, you are chewing mirror, you are chewing the gum, of which you will not swallow. So if your stomach stays there without receiving any food, the acid now will start working on the stomach. And that's how you get your ulcers. And that's how you get your secretions going into your body. And some people have suffered from diseases whereby you get a hole in your stomach. And when a hole is in your stomach, it means that the enzymes will leak into your body cavity, into your body there. And you'll start digesting your own self. And that thing is lethal. It is very dangerous. All secretions inside your alimentary canal should remain inside the alimentary canal. If they move outside, they will start digesting your body because your body is made up of proteins. And pepsin will work on your proteins. Yes. So I have to be very careful in these aspects of digestion. So don't eat, and if you want to chew your bubble gum, make sure that you first eat. At least you drink some water. But eating is the best. Any questions before we continue to the chemical digestion? Any questions? Maria? Yes?
Like sometimes when you're hungry, what are those things? What causes those things which cry in the stomach?
Which do what?
Which cry in the stomach?
Some things cry in the stomach. Anyone who wants to answer?
Yes.
Maria? Yes, Maria is asking, when people are hungry, some things start crying in the stomach. Anyone who wants to answer, Maria? Anyone? So it might not majorly mean that we are hungry. Even when you're not hungry, sometimes your stomach can make sounds. That movement of the stomach walls, the churning activity, the muscles in our digestive system, they normally bring about that. So those muscles, when they start to contract and relax, they can move out gases. Gases can move up or down, such that they make that noise. But we cannot say that our stomach is crying, because that is one complicated word. But your question is understandable. So that rumbling sound is due to the gases that are within our alimentary, that are within the intestines themselves. So when these muscles contract and relax, they move up these gases inside there. So those gases, when they are moving, they make that noise. So one way of reducing those gases is by eating well. You have to eat fruits, you eat juices. Don't eat a lot, because if you eat a lot, that can also be problematic. You have to look after your health. You do some exercises also. Wake up in the morning, you run. In the evening, you go jog. You go to the gym, for those who can go to the gym, and for girls, you can do yoga, and you be physically fit. These are some ways of controlling these gases, because these gases can accumulate in your stomach. And some of the people normally have big bellies, they have a lot of gas inside there, and also having a lot of fat too. And let us look at chemical digestion, because I'm saying time is not on our side. In the mouth, if you look at into the mouth, chemical digestion, we have said that we are having only one enzyme at this point of our level of education. We are looking at, we are having salivary amylase. We are having salivary amylase. Salivary amylase works on starch. Works on starch. So if it's working on starch, what is the end product? So if you look at salivary amylase, it can also be called tyalin. For those who don't know the pronunciation, it can also be called tyalin. So it works on starch. So what can we say? We say that salivary amylase catalyzes the breakdown of starch into maltose. Catalyzes the breakdown of starch into maltose. I'm seeing a hand, Abraham. You can unmute. Abraham. Yes.
What I was saying, like how when you work on exercise.
In what?
When you exercise, and then how does it get move out of the stomach?
You're getting off?
Like I was saying, when you exercise, how do those gases that are in your stomach go out?
So I'm saying when you exercise, when you do physical exercises, it can help up with the bowel movement. Exercises can help up with bowel. Do you know what we call a bowel?
No.
in your intestines, you are having those gaps and areas occupied by undigested food. So movement of those bowels can be effective, such that they go to their areas.
So
If
when
without,
how those gases move out of our bodies, so they just move out of us. So
no, they might move out in the normal way when because they normally physical exercise can increase on your rates of fatting, such that the gases are expelled out. And by doing exercises, you'll see that your bloating reduces. People who bloat, you can have a lot of gas in your stomach. It reduces on the bloating.
yeah.
The first thing, it improves on the bowel movement. And also reduces on the bloating. These things bring about decrease in the gas in the stomach by releasing them out, or in case, or if not, by reducing on their levels of production. Because when you exercise, you are trying to make your body fit to digest.
Okay, now get it.
So let us continue. We're having chemical digestion, and we're saying that in the mouth we're having salivary amylase or ptyalin that hydrolyzes or catalyzes the breakdown of starch into maltose. So you must be knowing that saliva works best in a slightly alkaline or neutral environment. So pH can be 7, or it can be around 7.5, or even at most can be 8. So it can be slightly alkaline or neutral environment. That's why you can have optimal working of salivary amylase. So here they are saying that salivary amylase only catalyzes the digestion of starch to maltose. We shall look at starch being a polysaccharide. We looked at these class of carbohydrates. Starch is a polysaccharide. Why? Because it consists of many sugar units. Disaccharide, di means two sugar units. Then monosaccharide means one sugar unit. So salivary amylase only catalyzes the digestion, the breakdown of starch into maltose. I'm seeing a hand. Kai's iPhone. You can unmute.
Teacher, about saliva.
You can unmute iPhone, Kai's Marvin.
Does saliva also have an enzyme called lysozyme, which kills the bacteria and removes some carbohydrate foods? Lysozyme.
Yeah, it can be present, but we basically look at salivary amylase at the moment, because now those ones are just about, we are looking at digestion itself. Now there you'll be going into immunity, because we are trying to kill germs and so many other things.
Yes.
But basically here we are looking at digestion, breaking down of substances into simpler molecules. But lysozymes are also important here. So, and that is the basic importance there. So I believe everyone can at this point describe what digestion is, how someone at this point you must be knowing what digestion is, the distinguishing between physical and chemical digestion. You should be in position to describe digestion in the mouth, and you must be in position to describe how salivary amylase works upon Okay, the end products of the hydrolysis of starch. We have said that starch can be hydrolyzed to a disaccharide, which is maltose. You must be knowing these factors because they are very relevant and they are the marking points. If you just come and say that in the mouth you're having an enzyme that catalyzes starch to sumanya to another end product, you're not getting marks. You must be very descriptive. In the mouth, we are having physical digestion of the teeth. The teeth, they grind food into small particles that can easily be worked upon by enzymes. Saliva is produced in the mouth that mixes with the food saliva, and you have to tell us that saliva contains an enzyme called saliva amylase, which catalyzes the breakdown of starch into maltose. Yeah. Then we can look at the act of swallowing. It's somehow relevant, but you should be knowing how it happens. It occurs through a process called peristalsis. The problem is some students think that in the word peristalsis there is a Y. There is no Y in the word peristalsis. As you can see, the thing is here. The word is here. Peristalsis. There is no Y anywhere. So peristalsis. So swallowing, that's how you swallow the bolus. We have in those muscles in the esophagus. So those muscular contractions are the ones that occur in the esophagus, are the ones we call the process, what we call peristalsis. So I want you to leave with an assignment. I want you to look at digestion in the stomach, digestion in the ileum, and what happens in the colon. We shall have someone to describe them next time when I come. So make sure that you do some research and you write somewhere. Don't come here just to be looking. You have to be writing somewhere. As I said, you must have a point of reference. I don't know if I'm having some questions. I want to end our lesson here. If you have any question, you can raise up, you can unmute and say something.
Listen.
Yes?
I did not understand. Digestion.
Digestion. Digestion with ig. Digestion starts with ig, right? Digestion, ig. So digestion, I said that we are having three processes that are majorly involved. Let me take you back and see them. Say that digestion, we are having excretion of undigested food. When you are defecating, that is digestion. You are expelling out the undigested food particles. That's digestion. Just know that digestion is defecating. When you go to the toilet to relieve yourself, you are defecating, you are ingesting. Ingesting is different in a way that you are taking in food. This one, ingesting, you are taking in food. You are eating, you are taking in food. Digestion, you are breaking it into small particles that can be absorbed and assimilated. Then ingestion, those ones that were not digested are expelled out. That is ingestion. So ingestion is eating. Ingestion is eating, and ingestion is defecating. I think now I'm clear there.
Yes.
Any other question?
Yes.
think we can call it a day. We'll meet next time. Thank you for listening. Make sure that you do my assignment.